Oh,
Welcome back.
okay. So this helps me see people there. So I need to have this. So
We're so happy you're back, Venerable Tendron.
Yeah.
We missed you. We really missed you.
it did. But you were good, well taken care of. Valerie.
I've been chasing you down in other states.
Yeah, Sharon went on looking for you.
I saw her name.
You found her?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, that's all.
For one day.
It's like Media Center, Kadampa Center or something. Media, it's a strange YouTube name.
She drove to find you. She went, remember, she went to.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Bali.
I'm sorry. I might not have been there.
I was there, but I missed you.
Okay. I had COVID for like 3 weeks, flat out. And then I caught a cold. So I'm sorry, it's just so pleasant. Anyway, so how do we begin? We begin by what? Remind me, because it's completely different.
I wasn't sure if it was rhetorical.
No.
Nana, you want to put the prayers up for us?
So I can read them?
Yeah, we did 4
Thank you.
measurables and then refuge.
We do. Okay. I didn't have to take care of any of that. There was a chat master. Okay. I'm only seeing this much, Nana.
She's got it.
She's working hard.
Yes. Nana has been hosting literally everything that we've done here from Portugal.
I know she's from Portugal.
Yeah, it's
She's the
amazing.
best. We met when doing prayers for Lama Zopa Rinpoche on Saturdays.
Oh, nice.
No.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, we got it? Okay. So what we want to do, these words are not without meaning. So we really want to, when we're reciting them, this is all about trying to have love and compassion, and whatever the other ones are, love and compassion and joy and equanimity for all sentient beings. And so by saying these words, we're just trying to develop a habit in our minds of learning how to think this way. That is not just about the people you like or the people you already know and care about, that we're trying to develop this attitude of recognizing that we're part of one human family and that we really want to be able, we're not there yet, but we want to develop that mind that really wishes everybody to be free from suffering and everybody to have happiness. We also want to feel joyous when other people are doing well or having success. We want to have that joy, and we want that joy to never end for them. And we want to do this for everybody, So that's the equanimity part. So it's helpful, however, to actually think of people you care about, to have that image in your mind when you get started, because we want to not have this vague kind of thing going on. We really want to think about people we care about, bring them to mind, or to just send out this positive energy to them. So it's a lot of work, but that's why they call it the 4 immeasurable. They're the 4 immeasurable minds, or states of mind we're trying to cultivate. So, okay. So I'm going to pause very briefly, maybe briefly, so we're not rushing through it, okay? So the first one's about the definition of love, according to the Buddha. The love without any garbage in it is just the wish that someone else be happy. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. The second line is the definition of compassion in Buddhism, which is just not merely, boy, that's the wrong word. This wish that beings be completely free of suffering. So this is compassion. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And the next one's about this wish for them to have joy and never be separated from it. And this is sometimes when we see other people have something really wonderful happen to them, there's a part of us that's a little jealous, like, oh, why not me? And we want to learn how to let go of that wish and instead just be really happy that they're having this experience. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. And finally, equanimity. Equanimity is this evenness towards all sentient beings, whether we like them, whether we don't know them, whether we don't like them, it doesn't matter. And it includes all beings. So that includes all the animals and insects and all those things that most of which, I don't particularly care for. But, this is why it's a practice. But, and this is something we'll talk about today, but don't forget yourself. That we're one of these sentient beings in this family of sentient beings. So we also want to care for ourselves, whether we're behaving, maybe not in the way we wish we were behaving, or maybe because we are behaving, it's not about deserving. It's not about anything. It's about our shared desire to be happy and free from suffering. Okay. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. What's next?
Refuge. Prayer.
May I turn that off?
I don't know. What is it?
It's a noise that's going on in the back. It's a clock.
No, it's the
No.
speaker. It's
Oh,
yeah, it's the,
I don't
yeah,
think
we
we're
don't have
using
that
it.
on.
We don't.
No, I turned it on in case she wanted to use the
Oh,
microphone. In case
yeah.
somebody said,
Oh yeah, I'm always into the microphone.
so in case somebody said I can't.
Oh, yeah. That's a reminder. We do have a microphone here, and anybody who has trouble hearing, please speak up, because we need to know that. And I'll wear it for that purpose. I already have big deep grooves for my glasses anyway. I don't know why I complain. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
think
why I
people will
complain.
hear better now that that's off.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it. Okay, so refuge. So if you're not Buddhist, is this your first time? Read it. Don't worry about it, because of course it doesn't apply, so it's just really, but this is a practice Buddhists say, because they've made the decision that they find the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha as a sort of safe haven, because it's through the teachings, through the companionship, through the, if we had a Buddha, maybe, that we can find our way out of our suffering, develop the skills and the tools that we need to reduce our suffering in this very life, to protect us from harm. And this is mostly our own harm. It's the mental harm. It's the habits that we have that cause us harm. So, sure you've heard all about it.
Sorry, the what?
The mental habits that we have that cause us harm. Okay. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. Thank you, Nana. Okay. Okay, so I have, what did we call that? We didn't call this anything, right? We called it sort of like self-confidence,
Yeah.
self-respect.
So-
This all came about because when Geshe Gellick, who is a teacher in North Carolina, where I just was, when he left, his last little thing in his last little teaching was about how he was quite concerned that we didn't have self-love, you know, and he'd been trying to figure out a way to help us understand that in the context of Buddhist teachings. So, and to me, that's the difference in the starting point Westerners have and Tibetans have. So, probably not all Tibetans, but you know, it's just sort of like they're brought up with this idea of having Buddha nature. What does that mean to you? Does that have any meaning to you? I like your necklace.
Compassion.
Love, compassion. Okay.
Right.
So our Buddha nature are those things. Okay, the fact that we have that capacity. Okay. So yeah, there's some truth to that. We have the ability, we have the potential to fully perfect those qualities of compassion and love. Perfect meaning it becomes universal. It's towards everybody. You have no, and that includes, you know, the snakes and the sharks and the, I don't know, bed bugs. You know, so it's that we already have this capacity in our mind/heart. Those are the same words in Buddhism or in Asian languages or somewhere. Anyway. What did we start off with? What in your home did you have that idea?
I was born with original sin. That's what I was taught.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was guilty.
It always comes down to sex. You know, okay.
I think like, grades as well, maybe played a factor into that. It's like, are you an F student, A student? And
We really are very into labeling, aren't we? You know, we have, and there's some uses to that, you know, but it's like, we really do have this kind of sense of that. And for a long time, science supported this idea that like our brain doesn't even change, you know, that there's a certain point when we're young that's it. You know, we're kind of stuck with the abilities we have, you know, and they don't change. Well, we now know that that's not true. It's never been true. It's not just that when scientists figured out it wasn't true, that it became true. No, it's always been true. So the mind is, you know, Buddhism does not equate the brain and the mind, but the brain is especially the human brain, is a very sophisticated support for the mind. Okay, so they're not considered the same thing, but they work together or not work together. Anyway. All right, so where was I going with that? I always interrupt
Buddha
myself. Some
Buddha nature.
Buddha nature. So in a lot of, I know that in my background, you know, there's this kind of thing of, you know, being a, you know, oh, your personality is this way, or you're kind of this way. Oh, that's just the way I am. I can't change it. I can't, you know, do anything about it, you know, blah, blah, blah. Very not good news for those of us who were not very nice. Who could that be? So, you know, this is this is quite a difference to be kind of told that you are, you know, I mean, I was female. So my household, that meant you could be really, really smart, but you were emotionally not capable of working in the world and being effective. Okay, so I'm smart, but guess what? You can't use it. It's of no use whatsoever, except, as my father told me, you won't be boring to a husband. This was my starting point, you know? So we need to understand that the worldview from the perspective of the Buddhist teachings is nothing like that. We're not stuck with whatever habits we have. We can change them. Not only that, we are never just one thing, one quality. Sometimes, even a smart person, sometimes is not so smart. Smart person doesn't know everything, just means they have the capacity to perhaps learn some things. We're all smart in that way. We all have the capacity to learn, make decisions about which direction we're going to follow. We have the ability to become very aware of our habits and then be able to choose to change them if we so desire. It takes effort. It takes a lot of awareness, self-awareness. And these things, develop over time. But one of the handicaps we have is that we have the habit of thinking we can't do it. We can't change who we are. We can't change that horrible, flawed, starting point, that original sin, that inherent flawed nature. The Buddha said, we're not inherently anything. So one of the things that is very important to develop in order to be able to maximize the benefit from these teachings is to work on this habit of not having self-confidence, self-respect, self-love, self-compassion, being able to see ourselves realistically, not according to, whatever we were told when we were kids, whatever we've ingrained in ourselves, because we need a certain level of confidence, of trust in ourselves to do these things, Everybody agree?
Yes.
My job here is done. Anyway, this is the squishing around part. Okay. Order. So have y'all practiced equanimity? I know a lot of you have. You done thinking about equanimity?
Difficult year for that.
Difficult year for that. Okay. I can buy that, but because I suspect every year is a kind of a difficult year for that. Okay, that's an interesting starting point. What makes it a difficult, not specifics, but what makes it difficult to have equanimity?
Different viewpoints.
Different viewpoints. So what?
The holding for my thoughts that they are right.
Okay, say that louder and more, less.
And then holding for my thoughts that they are correct and the others are wrong.
Oh,
So
and would you have the correct view and the others have the wrong view?
I guess.
self-cherishing.
So that is a problem with equanimity, isn't it?
Can we define it first?
Equanimity is the even view of all, well, it depends on the subject. So here we're talking about sentient beings, whether they, having an attitude towards them, having this that is not based on how they treat us.
That's-
Well, and it's neutral what makes it neutral? Of what?
Others,
Acceptance of others, of what?
the way they are, however they are. It's
However they are. Yes. All people suffer and all people want to be happy. Even animals want that. Even insects want that. Even fish want that. You know, everything wants to be able to get what they need that they think will make them happy and wants to be separated from. I keep looking, when people look at the door, I'm highly distractible
Sherry say because life is a roller coaster.
because life is a roller coaster. Is life the roller coaster? What might be
Our
affecting
minds.
How
the
I
roller
interpret it.
coaster.
who's going up and down?
Us.
Us. You know, so this is key, is that equanimity is a point of view. It's saying that happiness and suffering are universal, you know, and that it's okay for everybody to want to have zero suffering and everybody want to have nothing but happiness. There's nothing wrong with that starting point. Now, what do we disagree on?
What makes you happy and what's okay to make you happy.
What makes you happy and what's okay to make you happy? And yes. And what is suffering? You know, we have disagreements about that. I mean, you know, none of us really know. We have a different view of what makes us happy. And yes,
Suffering is holding to that view.
and suffering is holding to that view. Yes, that's a pretty sophisticated way of looking at it. And that's exactly where we want to go, is this mind that is recognizing that our feeling of our preferences for what we like, what we don't like, what we are indifferent to, are not a stable basis for how we treat others. Because that makes how we treat others dependent upon how they treat us. Does that make sense? What's the instability there?
You can't control the way others behave.
Okay, one problem is you can't control the way others behave.
The mind is illusory, so you're just making it all up.
It's a story we're telling ourselves.
Totally.
Okay.
Any expectations?
We create expectations. I've completely lost my train of thought. Is it obvious? Okay. All right. So we're talking about the instability of using the behavior or speech or whatever of other sentient beings for our points of view, you know, because we can't control what they do. Also, it's dependent on this made up story we've got going. And what do we make that story up about?
Me.
And me, and in particular,
Our view of the world.
our view of the world. What I want, what I think is important, what I like, you know, what I don't like, all those things. Now, yes, Graciela.
I was thinking the attachment to my view of the word.
Because that's what it becomes. So attachment has a specific meaning in Buddhism. It doesn't mean the same thing as we use in like Western psychology. Attachment is an exaggerated view. You know, it's like, and it's generally spoken in terms of it's an exaggerated view of things we like. So our opinion is one of those things we like, you know? And so we don't like it when people have a different opinion, especially if that opinion is contrary to our opinion, you know, so that they're having that opinion seems threatening to us. Is there anybody in your life that you like 100% of the time?
You.
It's a pretty safe bet, huh?
Venerable Tendron.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I walk into the room and complain about not having this or that, you just love me, don't you? Yeah, names, you know. So nice theory. Totally false.
I'm not sure. You mean beside my dog, right?
Yes, besides your dog,
Okay.
And you like him all the time?
all the time. See, this is the thing, right? So just from that one little detail, that shows us how unreliable our preferences are in determining how we treat others. How would that work with your boss? Has anybody ever held a job? Did it help to have a certain way of speaking and behavior with your boss? That might have been different than you might say with your best friend or the people you vent to when you leave your boss. You know,
A lot of times you just have to bite your tongue and listen to what they're saying.
oh my goodness, no. I mean, this is the thing, right? Our perspective of any given moment is through our own filters, our own desires, our own mood, all kinds of things. You know, that roller coaster that was mentioned? You know, have you ever gotten mad at somebody? It had nothing to do with them at all, but it had to do with what you were doing an hour before, or who you were talking to an hour before, or perhaps how you physically felt. We don't want to base our behavior and our speech and eventually even our thoughts. We are enjoying an experience, not enjoying an experience, don't like someone, because it will be unreliable. Because how often, I mean, how much of your day is getting what you want?
Depends on the day.
It depends on the day.
If you don't pay attention, it's all the time.
You what?
If you don't pay attention, it's all the time.
It's all the time. If you don't pay attention, it's all the time. If you pay attention, it's all the time. It's, you know, it's kind of, you know, what is it determined by? The mind. And why is that a problem?
But it's the story
It's just a story based on what?
based on your journey.
Experience.
So.
On your experience,
On your
your journey. And what else? Habits.
But all of that is the mind.
Our experience is the mind. This is important. The experience is the mind. Our feelings are the mind.
Yeah.
All of these things are the mind. Our love, our compassion, they are the mind. Wisdom is the mind. You know, that, so it's not that the mind cannot be reliable. That's not the problem. It's becoming aware of which states of mind are useful to follow and which ones are not, which ones possess wisdom and which ones do not.
What is the state of mind?
Momentary,
I'm asking you a question. What is the state of mind?
well, I mean, it's a particular tone, I guess you could say, of a mental event. Okay, So like when anger arises, in those moments of anger, what's not there? Compassion's not there.
Patience.
Patience is not there.
Wisdom.
Wisdom is not there.
Happiness.
This is not there. Equanimity is not there. What is there?
Non-virtuous.
Attachment to what? You're angry. So what are you attached to?
It's aversion.
To the feelings and beliefs you've adopted.
You're attached to the negative qualities of.
You're exaggerating the negative qualities and you're attached to being separated from them. Okay?
You forgot about impermanence.
You forgot everything. All you've got in that moment of mind, which is very brief, we can feed it so it keeps going, is just this exaggeration of the negative qualities of whatever it is, the event, a person, whatever it is that we're angry at, what we perceive as the source of our anger. Okay. So we want to be aware, we want to develop an awareness that lets us know or reminds us, that when anger arises, wisdom isn't there. That's my short stuff, So that's not a great state of mind to make a decision about anything, even what you say next. Because it's going to be under the influence of a mind that is exaggerating the negative, what we perceive to be negative. Have you ever gotten angry and realized you completely missed the boat? Like what you thought was happening was not happening at all. That gives you a clue of our ability to exaggerate something based on misinformation. So we need to recognize that some conditions of mind are particularly vulnerable to being unskillful to follow, that they're just not useful. But we're going to have them, right? They're going to arise. We can't just intellectually tell ourselves, not going to go there. We're already there, so we have to work with it from a different angle. And so one of the ways you can work with it, our unskillful states of mind, is practicing equanimity when you're sitting quietly, just reflecting on things so that you build up a store of experience using your reasoning that helps us understand why exaggerated views are not helpful. So how do we do that? Who has a negative voice about themselves in their head? Anybody? Anybody kind of beat themselves up when they do something wrong or do anything? I mean, yeah.
The only person I can't walk away from.
Yeah, no, it's really kind of a pain. When you wonder if you can, like I had a monk friend of mine said one time, said he was trying to get away from everybody. This is at Plum Village. He says, there are people everywhere. I want to get away. And then he looked down at his body and said, oh, there's nobody else in here. Who are we kidding? But yeah. So all the Buddhist practices, even compassion, love, all the meditation say, start with yourself. Okay. So do you have equanimity towards yourself?
Yeah.
Not yet. Yeah, I can relate. So this is a curious thing. If we can't wish ourselves happiness and the freedom from suffering in every moment of mine, you know, how can we do it for anybody else? Sometimes we're better doing it for someone else. Like think about the advice you give to your best friends, you know, or that you think is good, so, you know, whatever. So we need to look at that and kind of go, okay, maybe I can change this habit of talking poorly to myself. Not only does it give me an opportunity to break free from, you know, even worrying about myself, you know, thinking about myself all the time, berating myself all the time, it will also help me in the way I speak to others and think about others. Because, okay, is someone at the door?
Yeah.
Hi. Y'all all look back. Anthony, are you distracting all of us? Oh, I should have known because I you weren't there. So I am really just I'm been teaching for 2 months at a place where I don't have that. I had it here, so nobody knew I was distracted. You know, people were coming in the back door. So
One of the things I love about you.
what? That I'm distracted? Yeah, I'm not that person that's reliably likable. No, I'm not. So you have to trust me on this.
But that's a perfect example of what
Yes,
you're talking about.
it is, isn't it? Isn't that exactly an example? You know, first of all, does anybody know the stories of the Buddha, of Shakyamuni Buddha, growing up and all those kind of things? How about his best friend, Devadatta? So Devadatta is like a cousin or something that is constantly in competition with the Buddha, you know, wanting to outshine him, want to prove that he's not the, you know, whatever, that he's better, stronger, all the things that were important in that time. So even the Buddha wasn't liked all the time. The Dalai Lama liked by everybody.
Chinese don't like.
The Chinese government doesn't like him. Can you think of anybody who's universally liked?
Not for long.
Not for long. Maybe when they're giving you that check. Oh, I like you now. But anyway, so when we to ourselves, like, you know, I'm not likable, I'm an idiot, I'm, you know, whatever. What are we doing?
Reinforcing negative thoughts about ourselves.
Yeah, that exaggeration. Because is it true that you're 100% unlikable? There are no moments that people could like you?
You're imputing an inherent quality on yourself and other people.
What does that mean, though?
That we are, we are in fact that negative quality.
All the time, you know, that's what inherent is, this kind of thing, like it's a permanent part of us. It's not temporary. How much of us is not temporary?
All
All
Every
things-
face.
Everything's,
Okay, is that what I said?
I don't understand the double negatives.
Okay. Thank you. I said, what did I say?
How much
What?
of us is-
No, I said, how much of us is not temporary?
Oh, all of us is temporary.
All of us is temporary. The body, guess what? You're not gonna have it forever.
I didn't catch that.
No, I know, nobody caught it, you know.
Only Jack.
I usually have to, you know, it's because I can't pronounce a word, so I just use something else. So, so we need to integrate this intellectual understanding we have about things being temporary, everything changing. In Buddhism, we call it impermanence, and that it is, you know, anything that's produced, where we are a production. What are we a product of?
Our karma.
Our parents. This body is, you know, a product of our parents having sex. Ew. And let's regress. So, okay. Our minds are a product
Or feelings and beliefs.
of previous moments of mind, which are what? Feelings and beliefs. Some wisdom, you know. It's just there, one moment of mind is the producer of the next moment of mind, which produces the next moment of mind. They say that there are 65 moments of mind in every finger snap. When you sit down to meditate, you recognize this, don't you? You know, oh, that's still mind. What is that? So, we know that things are temporary. We know this body is temporary. We know that the shot at the doctor's office is temporary. That the, you know, I don't know, the dentist appointment is temporary. COVID's temporary, but it's, does temporary mean that that's it?
No,
No. What does it mean?
only
That's
that
the beginning
moment
and
that
an end.
it'll,
As a beginning and an end. Okay, so like this table, what do we know? What does science tell us about this table?
Parts.
Made of parts. What else does it tell us?
constantly changing.
It's constantly changing. What does that mean? Constantly changing.
At some point, it's not gonna be a table.
Yeah, at some point it's not gonna be a table, but how about from here to here? Do I hit the same table twice? 3 times, 4 times? No. No, science tells us no, it's constantly changing. It's not the same thing. It's not even physically the same thing. They're different electrons, different, I don't know, I can't even imagine it. We're like that too. This form is like that. This form is made up of mostly non-human parts. I mean, what is it? 500 trillion microorganisms or something, you know, that aren't human. So our view of things is already an exaggerated view. You know, we see this as an exaggerated thing that's solid. We even call them solids. You know, rocks are solid till there's an earthquake. Intellectually, we get this, but we don't take it to the next step, which is, I mean, we might. I'm not saying you are, me. I don't always take it to the next step of going, what's the consequence of that? What does that mean? So when we ever have an opinion, like I'm an idiot,
This too shall pass.
this too shall pass. We need to really understand how much freedom there is in our impermanence. We are not fixed, static. But we hold on to our thoughts as if somehow they have a truth, a solidity that is, you know, different from the impermanence we know that also is. And what is it based on? The way we talk to ourselves. So when you say to yourself, oh, how stupid, if you don't say that one. But what is the condition for it? False belief, but those are all static. What's the condition for having the thought, I'm an idiot?
But being experienced.
The moment being experienced, what's happened in that moment
Mistake or I did something.
that you think indicates that you're stupid? How long does it last?
Only until the next stupid thing I did.
And what's happening in between? This is critical. What's happening in between that?
Maybe you're operating I mean, you're able to make it to the next day. You're operating effectively enough to be smart enough to live. So you're maybe making smart decisions.
You think?
Yeah.
Ah, all of us are still here. You know, we made some smart decisions along the way, you know,
Some good karma.
had some good karma ripening, you know, so, you know, yeah. So we really want to look that there's this moment of feeling stupid and then labeling it such. And what do we label? Not that feeling stupid. We just, you know, we occasionally say, oh, I just feel stupid, you know. But usually we just say, I'm stupid. We go that next thing, you know, where we put some, you know, we're exaggerating the event. And our labeling of that event becomes, this is what we mean by superimposition, that we're superimposing onto something that doesn't exist, like a solid, permanent thing called stupidity. Or, you know, unlikableness, or untrustworthiness, or, you know, and on it goes. So the consequence of things being actually changing, the fact that there's time and events between, you know, this stupid mistake and the next stupid mistake, is that there are all these other things going on, right? All these moments of not stupid. So what's the point of those labels anyway? What use do they serve? Well, sure feels like they exist.
We can prove that I want to get better.
They do serve you because if you observe them, then you know that you have that behavior. They don't serve if you don't see them.
Oh, do they really serve though?
Not really, but I mean,
No.
you know what I mean.
So, well, I do know what you mean, but that doesn't help, does it? Because it's, first of all, an illusion. I think I know what you mean. And I'm sure I'm right. But well, these are all stories we're making up as we go along. So the important thing here is to recognize how meaningless that labeling we do is. It's not accurate. The condition for it is minuscule. We're taking one little event and making it something huge, you know. Oh, they are that way. I am this way, you know. So it feeds what we talked about before. It reinforces the habit of doing this. The fact that it is, I mean, it's just an exaggeration. There's nothing more than that. Because it isn't that we don't do things that are stupid. You know, we do. It's just that, what does that mean? That you're not perfect,
Just human.
but we have Buddha potential. So that's sort of, you know, what?
I'm sorry, it was for.
Yeah, no, I guess there's some information there, right? I made a mistake, so I'll do this better next time, but we take it steps further and
I'm the
that's
mistake.
exaggeration. Yeah. So
It's a
it's
big deal,
Yeah.
isn't it?
so it could be useful information, but we don't.
What makes it useful information?
That the outcome wasn't the intended outcome.
Okay. It's also, the way it actually really is useful is what you were getting at, I think. Don't know what you're getting at, I think. Is looking at what's going on in our mind becoming self-aware helps us spot what are unskillful habits and what are skillful habits. Where there's wisdom, where there's no wisdom, where there's, where we're under the influence of our different states of mind and how we respond to it.
Look at the positive possibilities.
We also look at the negative possibilities. We look at both. And we come back to this idea again and again and again of we don't find happiness and freedom from suffering by thinking we're an idiot. What is, when we call someone an idiot, how do they feel? They might get mad. It's harmful speech. That's how they feel.
Oh,
No, yeah, you're labeling it.
Making them feel bad, so.
They feel bad.
Like, I'm better, I'm better. Like,
That's how they feel. I'm talking about how they feel. Can you get out of your own mind for a minute? How do they, when you say you're an idiot, what are the possibilities?
They're offended.
They feel like you're not a nice person.
They feel you're not a nice person. Does it feel good?
No.
Thank you. Thank you. We should have certainty about this. When we speak unskillfully to others, they don't like it. How do we know this? Because we don't like it. This is not rocket science. This is very simple. What, Graciela?
I'm thinking that I said something like that. Maybe momentarily I have a feeling of righteousness that I told.
That's what you feel. I was talking about what they feel. Yeah, I know. This is our habit. Yeah,
They feel terrible.
maybe. I mean, that's certainly a big possibility, isn't it? So why would we ever want to say that to someone?
Don't parents do that to the children?
Oh, yeah, it's their fault. That's right. I forgot.
Parents say that to the children? That was an unskillful thing to do? Here's how you do it better?
Yep. So when you say it to yourself, does it feel good?
no.
Thank you. Now we've got everybody on automatic pilot. So
But
And
it could feel, it could feel familiar.
it could
And there's a
certainly feel,
comfort in familiarity.
Yeah. Because one of the things that I know that I grew up was a sense of happiness and suffering are deserved,
Ours or R?
are.
Work. Work. Fight for it.
Mhm.
Fight for it.
You have to earn it. The Buddha never says anything about earning it. Earning doesn't come into the equation.
Don't you have to work for it? Isn't that what we're doing now?
We have to have cause and effect. It's different than earning it. Who do you earn something from? Your boss, your teacher, your parents. Someone gives you a reward. That's not what happens. When we talk about merit and about cause and effect, we are literally just talking about cause and effect. So when we do something positive, the Buddha said that creates a positive potential in your mind. When conditions come together where that potential can ripen, we'll feel something pleasant if it's a good action. Did I say good end?
Yes.
So it isn't about earning. It's no different than if you plant a seed and you water it and it gets sun and it's a healthy seed and it's in nutritious soil, whatever all the conditions are, that it will sprout.
Yeah.
That's the word, sprout. So are you in control of all those conditions? No. So to have like those positive potentials in your mind string ripen as pleasantness, we're not in control of all the conditions. This is why, like, say someone never does a wrong thing in their lives. They're always, yeah, I know, hilarious, but we all know good people that things never seem to work out for them.
Why is that? Why is that?
Because all the conditions aren't there. Karma's not instant. The good news is if you do nothing but good things in your life, in this life, it's not going to go to waste. It's going to be a next life. No. So it's not this Buddha's rewarding somebody for doing something good. It's just that you need to create a positive potential, and then all the causes and conditions have to come together, including that positive potential, for it to ripen. That's true of negative things too. Okay, that was like lesson 17. So let's go back to lesson 1. Yeah, oh, please, go Sharon, go for it.
So isn't cause and effect immediate? Cause and effect is immediate. The
So you plant
karma-
a seed and then the sprout comes?
Well, I mean,
Well, I mean, no.
no, but I'm talking about being nice to
Mm.
Hernan right here, right
And
now.
Hernan just had a terrible day and he turns around and goes, shut up. Are they related? No, they're not related. He's living in his own illusory world. You're living in your own illusory world, Yeah, we don't have control over anything outside of our mind. And we don't have much control over our mind at this point.
So in that case, if she plants that good seed and she receives a good seed back. it's
What
not-
does that mean? You can't give her a good
No,
seed.
I'm not giving her back, but if I treat her good back, it's not because you treated me good at that time, because you treated
She was a
somebody good at a previous time.
No, it's getting too, no. Okay, what happens is we are all in every moment conditions for the other people around us. Okay, we're conditions. We're not causes of anything. We're conditions. Okay. So you're saying something nice to someone else is a condition for them to say something nice too.
I want him to act the way I think he should act because I was nice to him.
And that is not equanimity.
Yeah.
Equanimity is saying something nice because,
Without any expectation.
just because,
Are you saying that we don't have the potential to experience our mind as illusory?
I don't think
then
I
it-
said anything about that subject even.
Well, you just said we don't have control, we don't have the potential to have control over our mind.
Oh, no.
No, I did not say that. I said that we don't have much control now. That's what I said. We have the potential to control it right now, but we don't have the habits. Okay. So,
Thank you.
thanks for clarifying.
So I operate in the world kind of independently then of what anybody else is doing around me.
I don't know about that.
Because, well,
Sharon's saying that she operates, that what it sounds like to her is
That's what
that
it sounds like, kind of.
that we operate in the world independently.
Of
Like,
whatever
because-
anyone.
Like, would you say something nice to no one there?
It's hard.
The
to
fact that
even-
this person is here is a condition for you to say something nice to them, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, so it's never independent.
It's always so.
I'm trying to say something, but I don't know the right words.
Well, you probably do know the right words, but you got to think even further. You know, this is the thing, you know, that we have choice about what we say or not say or whatever. Doesn't feel like it because we're out of control with our habit energy of these, whatever the habit is. Fortunately, some of our habits are good habits.
So isn't it in some ways more important if Sharon says something nice to Hernan and he tells her something unkind? The most important thing then is how her mind reacts to that.
You're shaking your head, yes,
Yeah.
but that has nothing to do with what you just said.
No, because because I'm trying to figure this out.
You are in the, this is why we're all here in this room.
I have so many questions.
You're in the right spot.
But yes, thank you. I'm thinking so too. Okay, so he's gonna react to me.
Whatever way he
is,
reacts,
However he is.
whatever's
whatever
going on with him.
condition he's in. It has nothing to do with me.
That's correct.
So that's what I'm saying, like, the way I operate in the world.
Is you think that you're the center of the universe
Yes,
and think
that's
that
the whole-
people are actually
that's the whole-
responding to you. Is that really what happens?
No,
No.
but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, he reacts however he's gonna react. It
Right.
has nothing to do with
Yep.
me.
If
So
that
I'm-
means independent to you, I would just disagree with that conclusion.
That word, maybe.
Well,
What would you say it is?
that what we say, this is sort of like instant karma, you know, that there isn't instant karma. Because there's a huge amount of space and conditions, because when we say something to someone else, most of the time that works, doesn't it? They hear us, they let us know they didn't hear us, you know, there's some sort of interaction that happens, right? Sometimes the interaction doesn't reflect what we thought it reflected at all, you know. But the truth of the matter is everybody is bringing their own stuff to the moment, right? And not just their own stuff, which means their habits of mind, all their mental stuff, what they're trained, you know, what they're accustomed to saying, all that kind of thing. What else is there? All these conditions have to come together for all of us to be in the same room.
That's kind of.
No, it's kind of cause and effect. You know, it's just that we think it's sort of independent. Oh, well, no, I decided to get up this morning and come, and it has nothing to do with anybody else. Well, yeah, it does. First, this room has to be here. There has to be teachings held here. There has to be, you have to have heard about the teaching. You have to have decided like, oh, well, maybe I'll go, you know, and then on the day you decide, I will go, you know. Innumerable things happen for this moment to happen. And that's true of every moment, everywhere. This reminds me of what we would see if we had electron microscopes for eyes. It'd be constant movement all the time. You know, that's how every moment arises. It's just that they're not unrelated. In fact, they're quite related. They are interdependent. You know, this is why we talk about karma. Karma is definite. It's not that you do something and something completely unrelated happens in the future. No, they're related. Just like you plant an apple seed, you're gonna, if anything grows at all, it's gonna have to do with apple. It's never going to be a mango tree. There's a relationship. And this interdependence, we are all affecting each other. And we're, intellectually, we might be aware of that, but we don't experience the world that way, do we? Because we look, I look at you and you and you and you and see this solid living thing, that has nothing to do with me, but just happen to be here. And that's just not how it works. We think that what's happening over in Europe, what's happening in the Middle East has nothing to do with our actions. That's not true. This is why it matters how we treat our own minds, because eventually the way we treat our own minds can be a condition for a war to start sometime in the future. Right now we have the freedom and opportunities to have a pretty
Use of life, study, practice.
right, yeah. It was pretty uneventful. We're not in the middle of a war zone. We're not in the middle of a famine. We're not in the middle of, and it's not true for every person in this country. People in Asheville right now feel like, they're in the middle of a, catastrophe. Same in, Puerto Rico. Cuba's having this power outage right before a hurricane. I mean, Tampa Bay. What's the bin?
Panhandle. Panhandle.
The Panhandle bin. The bin from the Panhandle to the peninsula. So it isn't that. And none of those people, it's not their instant karma either. Oh, she disagrees. I can see that.
No,
See, I'm wrong.
I'm getting it, because the word karma, I always thought was like, that's your
It's-
karma right now.
Well, it has become part of popular language, hasn't it? Doesn't accurately reflect its meaning. And also in different traditions, karma means something different. In some traditions, karma means fate. In Buddhism, it doesn't mean fate. It means action. The law of causality, this action and this action, it's just action. The word karma only means action. So we have an action of body, speech, or mind. These actions of body, speech, and mind place an imprint on our mind stream, a positive or negative potential or neutral potential that when the appropriate conditions arise, might ripen. When all the conditions arise, will ripen. I don't know how we got on this. I'm really more interested in talking about equanimity. But it didn't have anything to do with me, does it? So we need to understand that, yes, we want to make our choices independently of how people react to our speech or in a sense. But when we say something nice to someone, doesn't matter what their reaction is, you're still trying to bring kindness or pleasantness or something to someone else, or acknowledgement or whatever. It isn't an independent thing. It just may not work.
You said,
Hmm?
that was beautiful. Yeah.
It's just, it isn't, it's not separate from, it's what their response isn't under our control. But we want to determine what we do based on our understanding of what's skillful and useful and what helps the world, not harms it. And we have to learn how to do that. We have the capacity for it. We do it all the time. But on those times where there's a tension in our body, either because there's a certain anxiety or certain fear or certain uncertainty, that makes sense. You know, certain uncertainty. Okay, I'm on a roll. So we want to be able to recognize that when that kind of sensation arises, or thought, or we notice that we're speaking kind of harshly or whatever, we want to become in tune to going, okay, this is conditioned. This is a condition that I can't trust how I'll react with body, speech, and mind. So I need to step back a little, even if it's just mentally, before I say anything, do anything, because I'm not reliable in this moment. There's something else going on with me that's going to affect my interaction. You know, that's why we want to develop a peaceful state of mind, because when you have a peaceful state of mind, the ways in which we wish we would speak, the ways in which we would think, and the things that we do will more naturally coincide with how we'd like us to act, you know? Because it's a good condition for that. But when we're nervous or afraid or or just whatever, that can become a condition for harsh words, harsh speech, indifference, or we don't even notice other people. So it affects our interaction. And then we want to do more reflection and really see how it's a story we make up in our own heads. Like if we have fear arise when there's nothing to be afraid of, there's no tiger lurking around, we want to look at what was that about? Oh, was I afraid of not being liked? Was I afraid of not knowing what the outcome was going to be? Was I afraid of this? What is it? We make up stories in our head before the fact. We make up stories about after the fact. We're continually creating stories that have no basis in moments of mental events or physical events, speech events. We run away with it, which is one of the reasons why when we do something unskillful or something that's incorrect, like I don't know, like I try to do anything with a computer these days, it's wrong. It's just like, that didn't work. It's we don't have to take that moment and exaggerate it as something about ourselves. We don't have to make it a big deal. Like, oh, this is just evidence I can't do it. What is it actually evidence of? Could it be evidence that you can't do it? Could be. So what? It means you don't have the knowledge to do it. That's, okay. So what? We don't have to turn that into I'm stupid. We don't have to make it this big thing. And we don't have to do it to each other.
We don't have to have a guilt for ourselves.
We have to have guilt for ourselves.
But we don't have to.
We don't have to have guilt for ourselves. Exactly.
I think of Thomas Edison that failed and something. I told him, you failed in that. No, I didn't. I just found out 534 ways it doesn't work.
And he excelled at that.
Yes. So if he can do it, I can do it too.
One of the things that Tibetan teachers will really learn when they come over to the West to start teaching, my teacher in Australia said this, is he just said, y'all seem to think you're supposed to know something before you've studied. You won't speak up and just say what you think. You just sit there going, oh, is that right? Is that right? Whereas they, in their study system, they debate from the time they're this big, Now they might be debating the color red, but when they get older and they've studied the teachings and stuff, they start debating these things, like all these different or profound subjects, And so of course they're wrong most of the time, but that's how we learn. So from confusion comes wisdom, because we have to seek it. We have to go, oh, I don't understand that. Well, let me try to find out. We want to use that quality of mind, which is that knowing quality to our advantage. The ability of the mind to know, but you have to present it with something to know. So mostly what we present it with, our mind with, is the stories we make up. So, but we can change that. We can change the story, but we could quit making up stories. We could just experience this moment, this moment, this moment, and make choices about how we respond, how we act, as opposed to reacting. So anyway. All right. Any burning questions out there?
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
I feel like there's a giant chunk in my mind that I have no control of. I can rationally have lots of righteous, good thoughts.
Yes.
But underneath is all these bad things that I don't have any control of.
Not at the moment. That's what the Buddha said. We are out of control due to karma and affliction, meaning our past actions, which are what create our habits, and these disturbing states of mind that arise. And we keep responding to them in ways that turn out to be unskillful. We don't think they are when we're developing these habits. We think they'll give us power or they'll have a positive effect in some way. But we have to learn but we can learn how to lessen the effect of these so-called uncontrollable states of mind. I mean, you are out of control right now. We all are out of control right now, which is why I can sit here and be talking about equanimity and not speaking to ourselves harshly and say I'm an idiot.
Okay, called it the rider on the elephant's subconscious. And we're just on top.
Oh, good.
Saying, that's what I meant to do.
Exactly.
Waiting for self-awareness.
But self-awareness, it's if our expectation is that we apply our intellectual reasoning to this, and then we, decide I'm not going to say something mean, the next time, or I won't get mad at the unskillful, unknowing cheer, because that's my personal favorite target, you made me wait again. Never mind. So, but it's this, it's just the more we look and be aware, the more we can pause and choose how to respond, not follow that uncontrolled mind. Because the uncontrolled mind is going to arise. These different thoughts will arise. But if we practice not acting on those thoughts or choosing better the thoughts we act on, because we also have good thoughts. We're generous, we're kind, we're patient, all sorts of things. So, then those thoughts will have less power over us and they will arise a little less often. So it's a process. Countless eons worth. I mean, it's a process. So it's not something that's quick, but it is something that we can start to kind of, if nothing else, we can keep questioning, am I stuck like this? And the answer to that is no. And we need to think about those things. And we'll practice that next week, because we really need to develop this habit of recognizing to ourselves. We've all learned how to change our mind. We've all changed our mind. We just don't remember those changes. Think about all the things you learned as a child. I don't want to share. Yeah. Well, we changed our mind. I don't want to brush my teeth. I don't want to bathe. Then puberty hits. And all of a sudden, it's important. Now you want to smell nice, want to have clean teeth. Yeah, I mean, we change our mind all the time. But we've had lots of practice at these habits and not so much practice at recognizing that we can do something about them. So one of them is not to think, I can't do it. What is Lama Yeshe or Lama Zopa Rinpoche? Oh, we always think it's impossible, so it's impossible. Einstein didn't have that problem. Not Einstein, Edison. Edison didn't have that problem. So, okay. Okay, now I've managed to get to the very last minute before I'm over time. Sorry about that. Thanks for your question. Good? Good enough? Yeah, we're, time for a nap. So. Okay, so now what do? We say Shanti Deva's prayers. So we say Shanti, blah, blah, blah. So we're taking our positive effort, not the stuff that we weren't so positive about, like, oh God, would she ever shut up? Whatever. We want to take that wish to develop our good qualities, that wish to be able to kind of maybe become more self-aware, and those are positive potentials we're placing in our mind stream. We want to take them and dedicate that positive potential to ripen on others. This is our practice of generosity. So again, think of people you care about, make it real, whatever, make it real. That's just so not Buddhist. Okay. Let's go. Thank you, Nana. What, we got it?
We're good.
May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness, and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid and those bound be free. May the powerless find power and may people think of benefiting each other. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the. And now we want to dedicate some of our positive potential to the long lives of our teachers, for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful Chenrezig Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. And then we do the prayer for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, who was the teacher for all these sinners who passed away or took the aspect of passing away. Gosh, it's been a while now.
It's a year in April. It was a year.
Year and a half now. Okay. Fearless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Prapakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losam father and son, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that's never discouraged. Incomparable Venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and for mother living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great ways of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of the reincarnations be beam in glory for fortune's disciples. Yay! Okay, so have a meaningful Sunday. Don't worry so much about our uncontrolled minds, just try not to act on every single one of them, so. Anyway, have a good week. Oh, Thursday, we have a
Yeah,
class
it's the
Thursday,
third
I have a class Thursday.
Yeah.
So on Thursday nights, we're gonna be, y'all can read Wisdom Energy, it's a book by, an old book by Lama Yeshe, if you like, but we'll be talking on subjects that are in there and whatever else comes to mind, what,
And I think we may have a couple more copies for sale too, if you're interested in the book.
if you're, yeah, if you
I'll
want,
look.
okay, you want a physical book, and I'm sure it's, the information's online.
Yeah, you can download.
You can download
PDF.
it. Yep, you can probably, you might even be able to read it on the Lama Yeshe Wisdom Archive website, lamayeshe dot something, org.com, lamayeshe.com. Is it .org? Oh, no.
What is
Lama
it?
Yeshe.
But
It's
if you wanna-
lamayeshe.com.
If you want to support FPMT, it's a very nominal price.
Yes.
You can purchase it from FPMT
Absolutely.
and download it.
It's just, depending on what your needs are. So, okay, thank you very much. It's great to see you all, so.
That's 7 o'clock on
Oh,
Thursday.
Thursday
here.
night. I'll put that on my calendar. So I'll be here. Bye, guys at home.
Thank you, Tendron. It was wonderful, wonderful to
See
see
you.
you back. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.